This program has been brought to you by Republic National Distributing Company, one of the nation's leading wholesale beverage alcohol distributors. And Bayou Rum, made with only the best Louisiana cane syrup and raw unrefined sugars. Our rums are crafted on-site at the Louisiana Spirits Distillery. For more information, visit bayourum.com.
Welcome to another edition of Appetite for Life. I am your host, Tim McNally, and it is our pleasure to accompany you on our journey through the New Orleans cuisine and beverage scene. Tonight, we will meet a most talented mixologist, Blake Kaiser, from the Bombay Club in the French Quarter. Blake will show us how the perfect and definitive martini is made. Then a surprise, a derivative cocktail from the martini. But I won't give that secret away just yet. We also visit one of the most glorious courtyards anywhere on the planet. Broussard's restaurant began as a home, a wedding present in fact, and is now one of the most sought-after dining spots in New Orleans. Executive Chef Neal Swidler explains to us about the magic of just being in Broussard's. Dining there takes us to a whole new level of pleasure. Finally, we travel to Sonoma, California, where John Jordan of Jordan Family Wines shares with us his family's passion for making great wine in a beautiful place. These talented people exemplify the meaning of an appetite for life. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Discover your New Orleans. Start exploring at followyournola.com.
And I love New Orleans.
And we are back. Welcome back to Appetite for Life. Tim McNally here. A martini. What a great way to start the show off. We've got the master right here, Blake Kaiser from Bombay Club. Blake, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you for having me, Tim.
It's great to have you here, my friend. Bombay Club and Martinis. Those two go together.
Right.
How long have you been making martinis at Bombay?
Almost 2 years now, since December 14, when we reopened under new management. That's when I took over the bar program there.
Do you like it?
I love it.
People are pretty fussy about martinis, aren't they?
You know, it's not a uniform way. And then you can have the argument somebody that martinis was made with gin, not vodka, until you're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, people want what they want. So sometimes you just got to ask them the right questions, see what kind of drink they want, and make it for them, you know?
The original martini, what was it made with?
Originally, it was come out on the heels of the Manhattan, so it was made with red vermouth. You got to remember, gin was transported in oak barrels from England or wherever it came from, primarily England, sometimes Amsterdam, over here. And, you know, then when it got here, it saw 6 months of oak. So when in a dark bar, somebody's making a Manhattan or martini and they're using a brown spirit, it was a little bit of confusion whether it was supposed to be, you know, either gin or bourbon they were mixing with their vermouth cocktail. The vermouth cocktail was primarily red vermouth and bitters. So when they started wanting to, you know, make it stronger, because why not, you know?
Why not?
So they start adding everything in the world with vermouth and bitters. Well, you added whiskey, you got the Manhattan, you had gin, you got the first, you know, Martini or Turf Club or some of the other names for the first original version of the Martini that we see. So it wasn't till later, around the late 1890s, that, you know, the white vermouth, dry vermouth came out and with it, with the gin, and that was called a dry martini, but it wasn't like how we think of post-Prohibition era, to where, you know, you wave the bottle of vermouth over the glass, or you put a drop, or you get an atomizer and squirt it in there.
Right.
It was still a 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 ratio. It was just the type of vermouth, not the amount.
Vermouth has made such a big comeback over the past, I guess, 3 or 4 years. It's really gotten large.
It has. And
Again.
Yeah, and it should be. It's great. Some people don't realize it's a fortified, aromatized wine, and it will last longer than regular wine open.
Yeah.
But it's not meant to be kept in a speed rack with a speed pour in there for months on end.
Forever. Some people do that.
Yeah.
What have I got in my hand here, Blake? What
That
is
is my interpretation of the original Martinez Turf Club, if you will. It's called the Bombay Club. It's right there. I just have equal parts Old Raj and Coque de Torino vermouth with some Regan's orange bitters and a little bit of Luxardo Maraschino liqueur orange twist for a garnish.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it's a tasty drink.
It really is a tasty drink. This is one that'll get the evening going for sure.
Definitely.
Now that you brought us another type of martini, didn't you?
Yeah, I was gonna make traditional dry martini. Just I was use.
Let's start with something.
All right, I'll just use Plymouth right here. So what I'm gonna do in this one is, like I said, you can go 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 ratio. I'm gonna do 2-to-1. So I'll do 2 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of vermouth in this one.
Because you are a professional, you can do that, Blake.
That's right.
You know, I love the fact that you're using a measuring cup. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Consistency, yeah.
Consistency, man. It's what it's all about. If you don't use that measure when you're making drinks like this, then it won't taste the same every time.
No.
People had the first drink, it tastes a certain way. They want the second one to taste that way. If it doesn't, then they're like, oh, it's okay. It was good the first time, maybe not the second time. Maybe I'll try something else, or they'll go back to their vodka tonic or something.
Right.
Some
So you
other-
use 2 ounces of the gin.
So I got 2 ounces of Plymouth. I got 1 ounce of Noli Pack dry vermouth.
Dry vermouth.
And I'm going to do 1 dash of orange bitters as well.
From Gary Regan, Regan's Bitters.
Yep. And I'll gotta remember, see when the bottles are low like this, it's like a ketchup bottle when it's low, it's full. It's very, very full. You don't have that much airspace in there. You don't get as much out per dash as when it's
Right.
halfway down or at the very end.
Oh, sure. I hadn't considered that. The physics of it all.
So you get a lot of times we have droppers we use to measure. It's probably about good a dash right there. If it was a halfway down bottle, 1 hard dash like that, and it would have filled it right up. So
Got to be careful. And you don't need much of that, do you?
no, a little goes a long way. It's more of an orange peel, like the pith and the skin, like the oils you get from this. This isn't like orange juice flavored bitters, which I like the orange a lot more because it adds a nice citrus note that's already in this gin. And the thing about what's in gin, you have a bunch of citrus and pepper and juniper and all those flavors. So
Nobody gives away the recipe, though. They won't tell you what's there.
some listed on the bottle what's in there, but they don't tell you how much.
How much? Yeah, it makes a difference.
Think about like Bombay Sapphire, how they have all the ingredients listed on the sides of the bottle. You're like, okay, well that's what's in here, but you'll never make it right.
So this is stirred, not shaken.
Yeah, Americans always, we were the foremost leading bartenders in the world before Prohibition. So it was bad etiquette to shake when you're using just all spirits, no fruit juice. If I was making a sour and had lemon juice or something in there, I would shake it. Then, that's when you would want, to shake vigorously, double strain, because all those little ice cubes on the top, it's like me adding a shot of water to your drink. So what's ice do? It melts.
Now, a lot of bars have gone to very large clusters of ice, like big balls or big squares. It's not very elegant.
No, it has its place. It's cool if you're doing like just a single shot of whiskey and you keep pouring it in there because those big giant 2-inch cubes are good for that. But you see a lot of people with the larger cubes, when they're stirring, they crack them in half. It's all about surface area.
Look at the difference in color in these drinks, huh?
Yeah. And you can see all.
May I?
See it. Of course, please. You see all the lemon oils just floating on top. Give you that nice smell before you
Oh
drink
man, the citrus is really outstanding in this. Oh, this is beautiful.
it. Yeah. So.
Wow, I can see where each one has its place. Mm-hmm. People really like the major difference between these two drinks right here.
And if I just change the vermouth types or gin types up, it makes a difference. So some people are like, oh, I'll just get well. Well, I'll try to keep a decent well because it makes a difference in your drink. And you can taste it. Even if I switch that gin out just with another great gin, you would taste a totally different drink.
Blake, the Bombay Club, a great place to eat.
Yeah.
Chef does a wonderful job
Phil
there.
Todd's over there. He does a great job.
Very comfortable in that regard. You guys have live music still in the club. That's sort of a hallmark also of the Bombay
7
Club.
days a week, yeah. We have our bigger bands Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Normally we'll do single performers, like piano player with vocals or something like that, Sunday through Wednesday. Not always.
And I always have the feeling when I'm walking down that driveway that I'm going to a very exclusive place because it's very private back there.
Tucked away, yes.
Address, please, sir.
830 Conti.
830 Conti in the Prince Conti Hotel.
Correct. Down the driveway, all the way in the back. You're not sure if you're supposed to be there.
I never have a doubt about that. So, and website, please, so people can get more information.
BombayClubNewOrleans.com.
Fantastic. Blake Kaiser, the head bartender at Bombay Club. Blake, thank you for being with us on Appetite for Life.
Thank you for having me, Tim.
Great to have you here, sir. To your good health.
And yours as well. Cheers.
Cheers. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Tim McNally here, Appetite for Life. Thank you for being with us on Channel 32, WLAE-TV. We're in Broussard's courtyard. Boy, this is a beautiful area right now, particularly this time of year. And I am wholly confused by this menu. Everything looks so darn good. So I'm going to bring in an expert, Chef Neal Swidler. Chef, welcome to the show.
How are you?
We're good. Thank you very
good.
much, sir. Chef, you have been at Broussard's now for?
2 years.
2 years. Does it seem like it?
It seems like 7.
There are days.
There are days. Those 16-hour days make it seem long.
You have really worked within the framework of what Broussard stands for, but you've expanded the creativity of the menu dramatically.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I like to pull in a little Caribbean influence and kind of update the classics. You know, I want to keep what we're doing in New Orleans, stay true to the roots, but make it updated so it's exciting for the locals as well as tourists.
Well, New Orleans, as you well know, Chef, is really the true melting pot of America. We say other towns are. This is the one where every culture is considered and incorporated into the fabric.
Absolutely.
That's got to be a challenge on the plate.
Oh yeah, the challenge is to get a distinct dish, because if you mix French and Spanish and African and then local flavor, you're going to come out with a melting pot, literally.
Yes.
So it's a distillation process.
Caribbean, that's a big deal here, isn't it?
Caribbean's fun. They're brighter flavors. You know, you've got the tropical fruit flavors going on. You've got cilantro. You've got allspice berry coming in from Jamaica and some ginger. So it's fun, really. It's within the wheelhouse of Creole cuisine to kind of throw some of those flavors in to kind of update the classics.
Some of this stuff that you're cooking down here, like pork belly, that isn't anything that we've worked with in the distant past. It's very recent.
Pork belly is definitely a trending food source, but if you think where it comes from, it's pork, and there's lots of pork in Southern cuisine. So we're taking the idea of pork belly, and then we're gonna braise it, slow cook it, and we're gonna fuse that up with a couple of really fun New Orleans flavors. I'm taking red beans, and I make a red bean pancake out of that. All the flavors of a great bowl of red beans inside of this little pancake, the seared candied pork belly with Steen's cane syrup, and then we do a horseradish crema. It's out of sight. And there's Southern, Creole, New Orleans on one little dish.
Wow, that's I'm hungry. The fish that we get down here, Chef, unequaled.
Gulf fish is fantastic, and the brackish waters where the rivers meet the Gulf, it's fantastic. It's great to have a busy restaurant so we can be churning over fish every single day. Black drum on our menu, redfish on our menu. We change up our long line fish du jour. One day it might be amberjack, lemonfish, could be swordfish, could be tuna, but we really stick to Gulf seafood when it comes to the seafood on the menu.
We don't have seasons in New Orleans, Chef. We may have two, possibly.
Summer and not summer?
Yeah, exactly. So we define seasons by our food.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
I think that is reasonable. I think that we have to have that. Otherwise, it's just kind of an endless summer here.
Yeah. Well, this is a beautiful day. The fall is the time to be on the courtyard at Broussard.
Sure is. And everyone knows that because we're going to be booked up with a ton of weddings. I know it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
What a great setting for a wedding.
I'm sleeping in the kitchen these days.
Oh, I bet you are. Do you ever stop thinking about combinations, food combinations?
You know what? The only thing that stops me is beer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I need to drink a lot of it every night.
I love your attitude toward beer. Do you cook with it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We like to cook it. Whenever I make gumbo, there's a couple beers that have to go in it. For sure, there's 2 beers that are going to slow down the roux, 2 beers that are going to slow me down, and it comes out perfect.
Are they, yeah, I love beer, particularly cooking with it, right?
Yeah.
Are the beers local that you like?
Abita. I like Abita Amber when I cook it, when I put it in the gumbo.
Isn't that
It's
a
got
great
a nice flavor, a little bit of nuttiness. I like the Amber.
What is your relationship to oysters?
Love them. Love
Yeah.
to eat them. Love them
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah.
Love to fry them. Love to
Yeah.
eat them. Love to have mignonette splashed on them and eat them with grapefruit sorbet.
In restaurants like this, Chef, grand restaurants, some people are intimidated. And they come in and they look at something, and as great as your menu is, as varied as the menu is, they're afraid to ask for variations. You don't mind that,
Oh
do you?
no, of course not. We want everyone to be happy. If there's an intimidating ingredient, they don't know what a mirliton is, you know what, we're going to bring them a sample of it, or we'll explain it, or you know, if they still aren't convinced, we'll put it on the side or take it off. It's not a problem. We want to accommodate people.
How long have you been cooking in New Orleans, Chef?
I've been cooking in New Orleans for about 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And you're not originally from here.
I was born and raised in Chicago, and I went to school in Arizona, and then I went to culinary school in New York.
The usual path.
The usual path for a young culinarian, hungry.
Moving to but New York had to be an exciting.
Oh yeah, the Culinary Institute was a great school. I actually teaching fellowship there for 6 months after I graduated. That was a great honor, and I loved it up there. And it was great to go down to the city. That's such an epicenter of cuisine. But I have to tell you, when I graduated from there, I knew immediately that I wanted to come here because to me, New Orleans is a culinary mecca of America.
Were you thinking about that in Chicago, in Arizona? I know you were thinking about it in New York.
I think I saw some terrible video about Mardi Gras when I was about 11 or 12, and I said, "That's for me."
Scarred for life.
Until I can get there, I'm going to keep that on the chalkboard. I'm going.
The daily menu here, Chef, I know you change it. You have specials and that's not unusual, of course. And again, highly seasonal. Do you work with fruit and vegetables with those daily menus?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, fruits and vegetables are really kind of the backbone of my cooking. I find that they add such depth and they add such brightness of flavor and color to the dishes. You find a lot of colorful dishes. I think maybe old-fashioned Creole cuisine might be very brown, very delicious, but very brown. But you'll really find a lot of updated classics here. Lots of, we use baby chicory in a salad. It's fantastic. It's bright, it's green. Heirloom tomatoes all summer long. You know, I think one of the highlights of my cuisine is I put a little bit of the fresh flavor of the vegetables and fruit along with the cooked, and it really just wakes it up.
Coming back on board, Chef, with remoulade and turtle soup, some standards and staples. You respect that, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think without that kind of respect for the culinary history, why would I even be here?
Yeah, you do a great job. Chef Neal Swidler, Broussard's restaurant in the French Quarter.
Thank you.
Chef, keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. A pleasure.
Come on back after the break. Tim McNally here on Appetite for Life, Channel 32. We'll see you then.
Facts to savor.
Welcome back to Appetite for Life. I'm Tim McNally, and we are bringing you something very special in this segment. We've got John Jordan right here with us. Well, he's not right here. He's in Alexander Valley, where he belongs. But John, welcome to the show.
That's good to be here.
You're looking terrific, my friend. What's behind you?
Well, I'm sitting here, what we like to call the Bacchus Courtyard here at the Jordan Winery, as you mentioned, here in Alexander Valley, just north of Healdsburg, California.
That is such a special place, right there in front of the chateau.
Yes, sir.
It has been my great privilege to enjoy dining there and to stay there at that chateau. We talk a lot, John, about Americans don't have this long history and tradition in wine, but you are living evidence of our history in wine in America.
Well, yes, the Jordan Winery was founded in 1972, which may not seem like a long time ago, but in the history of the California wine industry, it really is, as so much has happened in California, in the American wine scene since the early 70s. In fact, that would constitute really the bulk of the history of the wine industry in this country.
John, you grew up in this industry. Your father was a big lover of Bordeaux, wasn't he?
Well, yes, I personally didn't. My background is not in wine. I'm a lawyer, pilot, and was a naval officer by professional inclination. So I didn't go to winemaking school, and I didn't spend my early adulthood working in the wine industry. But it was always something that was around and certainly associated with it by name. And since coming back to the winery and acquiring it several years ago, is something that has become pretty much the dominant theme in my life.
John, to place Alexander Valley for our viewers, you guys are in one of the hotter spots in Alexander Valley in all of Sonoma County, and you're right up against the Mayacamas Range, which is the mountain range that separates Napa from Sonoma.
Yes. The Mayacamas Range is just right over there off my right shoulder, or actually behind me. Our fruit sourcing with regard to Cabernet, we moved off the valley floor and into the benchlands, and obviously the soils are very different, but the temperatures and the microclimate's very different too. It's not quite as hot from what we like to call the Côte de Jordan, where most of our Cabernet fruit comes from.
Côte de Jordan, I love that.
That's what we like to call it. And because it all comes from kind of the same spot, but is not on the valley floor, but it's in the benchlands, which again are cooler. Our Chardonnay is not what you'd expect from a California Chardonnay at all. California Chardonnays, tend to be very big, buttery, with a lot of malolactic fermentation. Our Chardonnay really emphasizes the fruit and the terroir of the Russian River Valley, and we exercise far more restraint in the cellar.
It's a cooler spot out there, and I've got your Chardonnay right here in front of me. I'm enjoying it. And what I'm seeing in the Chardonnay is a great expression of the Chardonnay grape. There's nothing else going on in here. This is Chardonnay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, we're not trying to, our view is, and this is true of the Cabernet as well, when you put excess oak or excess wood on a wine, you're doing that to conceal the flaws in the fruit. And that's not what we're trying to do. We believe in the terroir, we believe in our fruit, we believe in where we source it from. And as such, we see no reason to hide it. And that's why our Chardonnay is kind of more reminiscent of a Merceau or something like that, which emphasizes that bright acidity and flintiness rather than that butterball or mouthful of wood that you get with a lot of other more traditional California Chardonnays.
I just moved over to your red wine, John, to the Cabernet Sauvignon, and I think your hallmark, your trademark, if I may, is elegance in these wines. You are going for subtlety and full flavors. You're not hitting people over the head.
No, that's not. Well, we don't think that's. I mean, we don't think that's the role of a wine. If you look at, go back to the traditions of France, where my parents fell in love with, wine is a happy accompanying player in the pleasures of the table. It's not intended to dominate the delicate flavors of a well-prepared meal. It's designed, wine should make the chef look good, whether it's the restaurant chef or the home cook. Not be so big and so bold that you can stick a fork in it, the fork will either stand up or dissolve. That's not who we're
That's
trying
our
to...
coffee, John, right here.
And we think California has gotten away from what it should be, what wine really should be. Wine is, most of it is enjoyed in the context of a meal. Do you really want it crushing those flavors? We don't think so. And moreover, we moved away completely from American oak in our cooperage program. American oak is just too strong, and it is there and it has a use, but the only use for American oak is to mask the flaws inherent in substandard fruit.
Amazing expression of the wine, John, and the grapes that you get in your vineyards. I know you people love to have visitors at Jordan. The wines are available all over New Orleans in restaurants and in retail outlets, and we appreciate you sending us those wines. But how do people come to visit you?
Well, we welcome visitors by appointment. We have tastings and tours every day, year-round. Between May and October, however, we also have our estate tour, which is a 3-hour movable feast around the property. It's kind of our upper-end experience, but again, it's only available through the end of October. Again, May through October. This November, early November, we have our fall hike and olive oil release luncheon. you can visit us at jordanwinery.com under events. We have events throughout the year, whether it's our spring release party or our Christmas at Jordan or various other events throughout the year, whether it's our Starlight dinners or our Sunset suppers. So we try to pride ourselves on smaller events that are more focused, that we're, by reservation or by appointment only, because what we don't do at Jordan is have that big belly up to the bar wine experience, which has become so ubiquitous, where you just kind of show up and stick your glass and get your couple of ounces of wine. Our experiences are more restrained and more special. So we urge people to make an appointment before coming to visit us. But we really pride ourselves in wine country hospitality.
The total wine country experience, starting with great wines. John Jordan, thank you so much for sharing the story of Jordan Winery with us. I have loved your wines forever, and I intend to go on doing so, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you. We look forward to having you back out here.
Thank you, my friend. Tim McNally right here. We are on Appetite for Life, and we thank you for joining us. We're from Alexander Valley with John Jordan in Sonoma County. We'll be right back.
Facts to savor.
And there you have it, another edition of Appetite for Life. Our special thanks to Blake Kaiser, the man to know at the Bombay Club. Also thanks to Chef Neal Swidler, the kitchen master from Broussard's. And also a big thank you to one of the great guys in the winemaking industry, a gentleman whose family was instrumental in putting America on the world winemaking map, John Jordan of Alexander Valley, Sonoma County, California. Join us again next week when we will bring you the stories of people who, like you, have an appetite for life.
This program has been brought to you by Republic National Distributing Company, one of the nation's leading wholesale beverage alcohol distributors. And by Your Rum, made with only the best Louisiana cane syrup and raw unrefined sugars. Our rums are crafted on-site at the Louisiana Spirits Distillery. For more information, visit buyyourrum.com.